I'll use blink, and I'll blink to this location, and I'll draw a card. Come on. Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Hayne from Wizard's Den, and welcome to the third episode of How to Play Sorcery Contested Realm. In this episode, I'll talk about abilities based on Rules 0.8. This will cover all types of abilities, including passive, triggered, static, and keyword abilities. Similar to episode 2, this episode will be covering advanced concepts assuming you watched the first episode, which was the overview episode. So if you have not watched it yet, please watch that episode first. I'll put a link in the description of this video. So without further ado, let's get started. There are 4 different card abilities in Sorcery: activated, triggered, passive, and keyword abilities. Activated abilities take effect by paying a specified cost. This could be spending mana, paying life, tapping, discarding cards, and others. It can be activated by the controller of the card during the main phase. Let's look at this Avatar of Water as an example. This avatar has 2 activated abilities, with both having the cost of activation be tapping. It can either play or draw a site, or flood a site adjacent to your body of water and teleport there. Triggered abilities are abilities that take effect when specified conditions are met. These abilities can often be recognized by their use of words such as when, whenever, and some other non-standard wordings. Among these, the most common triggered ability are Genesis and Death Rite. Genesis is a keyword for when this card enters the realm, do what it stated. Basically, it's a triggered ability when it enters the realm. An example is this Deep Sea Mermaids. It states, Genesis, draw your bottommost spell. So when you play this card from your hand to the realm, you will draw a spell from the bottom of your spellbook. Death Rite is a keyword for when this card leaves the realm and is put into the cemetery, do what it stated. Note that it triggers only when it's placed in the cemetery. If it was banished, it would not trigger as it did not go to the cemetery. An example for Death Rite would be this Midland Army. It states, Death Rite, summon a foot soldier token to each adjacent location. Upon sending Midland Army to the cemetery, you will place foot soldier tokens to adjacent locations. Note that if the Midland Army was killed due to being submerged or borrowed, the foot soldier tokens will have to be placed in the subsurface and therefore be killed instantly. A passive ability has an ongoing effect that is always active, as long as the card is in the relevant game zone. Typically, this zone will be the realm, but some cards have abilities that specify things they do or enable you to do while in your hand or while in the cemetery. King of the Realm is a good example for passive ability. The control is always active as long as King exists in the realm. Note that for passive abilities, region restrictions do not apply unless it refers to locations or regions or otherwise in specific. Finally, keyword abilities. Keyword abilities are words that function as shorthand for a longer piece of rule text, which could be any of the ability types that was discussed. Stealth, charge, ranged, lethal, spellcaster, and X-bound are all keyword abilities. Stealth is a passive ability that makes units not targetable by opponent's spells and abilities, and it cannot be targeted by attacks. Enemy units cannot intercept or defend another one of their allies or sites from this unit. Stealth is lost forever after the unit does anything other than move, pick up or drop artifacts, or if it deals damage by any means. Note that though stealth minions are not targetable, it can be hit by projectiles and non-targeting effects. Charge is a passive ability that allows units to use tap abilities the turn it was summoned, including moving and attacking. Ranged gives units a tap ability stating, tap, strike target enemy unit at a range of up to 1 step away in a cardinal direction. This unit may also intercept airborne units flying over them. As this is not an attack and is written as a strike, airborne units may be damaged using this ability. Also, there are cards that can increase the distance a ranged strike may target. For example, Belmont Longbowman is on Vantage Hills, which reads, ranged units atop the site have +1 range. The Longbowman will be able to strike minions 2 steps away instead of 1. Lethal is an ability that makes any positive amount of damage a minion deals to a minion allows to kill it regardless of the toughness. Note that a power 0 creature will not be able to kill any minions even with lethal. Spellcasters allow cards to cast spells. Your avatar is a spellcaster by default. Some cards may specify an element, such as Fire Spellcaster. An example is River of Flame. This spellcaster may only cast fire spells. Also, one interesting note for River of Flame is that, as it's a site, it occupies both surface and subsurface. That means it can target spells and shoot projectiles in both regions. X-Bound is an ability that makes a card disabled when not at a location that meets the requirements. For example, Sandworm has Landbound. This means that the Sandworm is disabled when it is not on a land site. A disabled unit cannot perform actions and reactions, such as moving, intercepting, attacking, striking, defending, interacting with artifacts, and casting spells. This includes external spells or abilities that make minion perform these actions. For example, Dodge Roll cannot make a minion to move if it was disabled. Similar to Disable, Immobile is another ability that restricts minions' innate abilities. Immobile minions cannot use basic abilities other than dropping artifacts, and cannot perform reactions and cannot move itself. So an immobile minion on an enemy site will not be able to attack that site. Neither can they block or intercept minions passing by. Immobile does not mean only movements are restricted. So, that's it. This was everything about abilities. Abilities will play a central role in deck operation mechanics, so make sure you understand them well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future episodes regarding sorcery. Thanks for watching, and until next time, have a great game.